How you doing, Connor? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. You all?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How you finding life in the bubble at the minute? I know you've only just got in.
Oh, well, that's it, mate. I've just got in here, do you know what I mean? So just relaxing at the minute, man.
How key do you think the experience of this being your second bubble will be, just to kind of adapt into this new way of life up until life does return back to normal? How key do you think it will be to know you've got the past knowledge?
I don't think it makes any difference, to be honest, man. You know, you're so focused on the fight and, you know, the fight that's at hand, you know, it don't really make no difference, mate.
Can you still hear me, Connor? You're just breaking up slightly.
Yeah, I can hear you, mate.
All right. Kind of just talk to me about Sammy Vargas. Obviously, the preparations for this camp is everybody knows he's a tough fighter. He tends to go the distance with his fights. What are you expecting from him?
I'm expecting a very tough fight. I mean, he's been one of the best fighters of our generation. So, you know, I'm expecting a very tough fight and, you know, I'm ready to match it.
For yourself, obviously, there's a lot of kind of hype which has continued to build around you, especially on the back of a brilliant performance against Sebastian Formella. How have you felt kind of dealing with that? You know, people talk about the Ben name and what your father did, but it really seems to be you've stepped out from kind of what your father's achieved, and there's a lot more focus on you yourself now.
You just got to take it in your stride. I mean, I do the best I can. And, you know, that's enough for me. You know, I train as hard as I do train and I do everything I do with 100% and I give my heart to this sport. So, you know, you just got to take it in your stride. It doesn't really bother me, to be honest, man. You know, I've dealt with this since this pressure and um, this sort of thing since I turned pro, you know, as a young kid. So you just learn to deal with it.
Connor, I know you won't want to look too far ahead, but I've seen you've spoken about how you'd like to have one of the big domestic names next, provided Saturday goes to plan. Do you feel that's something you need just to kind of, before you move above and beyond British level completely, you'd like to face one of the likes of the Amir Khans, the Carl Brooks?
Yeah, you're jumping the gun here massively, mate. You know, I've got a big task ahead of me with Vargas. I can't be going. Like, I'm not looking past Vargas. Yeah, I said I would like a big, massive domestics against the Khans, the Brooks, because it's a mouth-watering fight for the public. You know, when hashtag idols become rivals and all that. You know, so that's why I love that fight. But you know, I've got my hands full with Vargas, man.
Connor, I appreciate your time. I'll pass you over to somebody else.
Pleasure.
Thanks, Andy. If we go to Jeremy Herridges next, please.
Hey, Conor, thank you very much for the time. I was reading about kind of your morning workout sessions and your morning runs with Bo McDonald. I was wondering if you could kind of talk about, you know, the role that running has in your conditioning, and has that been something that you've always put that much emphasis on?
Well, training become very, can't say boring. It can become stale when you're doing it every single day, every single camp, the same routine. So I like to change it up. I go to Bo's, run down South End Beach, pretend like I'm in Miami when really it's -3 degrees, but we've got a few palm trees. So, you know, you can sort of use your imagination. But it's a pleasure having the young boy run with me. You know, I'm a big believer in inspiring the younger generation to come through. And, you know, he makes me laugh. He makes me laugh. He makes me happy. Do you know what I mean? He's a young kid, a bit of fresh air. And you know, I ain't got to be running with, you know, 6'4" security guys, or, you know, he's a nice, lovely kid. I enjoy doing my runs with him. He really pushes me. He's the best runner in the country. So, you know, I do emphasize a lot on running. You know, fast pace, slower pace, they all do different things. So once you know your heart rate zones, you can sort of gauge what sort of runs you need to do.
Has that, and the reason I brought that up, I'm curious, is that something that you've accelerated, or do you try to set goals for yourself, and has that shown up in your fights? For example, the Formella fight.
No, I run. So we do our sprints obviously on the Tuesdays and Thursday mornings. We do our sprints, which are like, yeah, really high intensity. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturdays we do a nice hour run, slow, steady, more of a fat burner. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, one of them 3 days, 2 out of them 3 days, we'll do, you know, a quick, fast-paced run. But then again, it also depends on how I feel as well, because at the end of the day, I'm not a Olympic runner. I'm not a sprinter. I'm a fighter. So, you know, you need to not get the two twisted. Run based on how you feel. If you feel great, smash the run. If you don't feel so great, take it easy. You know, the end goal's to fight, not to, you know, keep smashing run times, which I have done. But, you know, it's only because I felt good.
Final question for me. I know that Amir Khan talked about the threat that Samuel Vargas, you know, is, and how his strength is deceptive. Do you pay heed to his words? He also picked you to win the fight. Do you kind of just take that as a side note, or do you kind of take that as some wisdom that you can take into this fight?
I'm worried about what no one else says. I see what I see. I make Khan right, and he is a tough opponent. I make Khan right in. It presents any risk when someone's in there trying to take your head off. It's always a risk. Do you know what I mean? Some heavier punches than other, some stronger than other. But at the end of the day, there's always a risk when you go into the ring. There's always that element.
No doubt. Thank you, Conor, and best of luck on Saturday.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremy. If we go to Ames from Boxing News TV, please.
Ames here from Boxing News TV. Pleasure to speak to you again, Conor. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. You well?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. All the better for speaking to you. Last time I spoke to you, I asked you whether the flame had gone from your father to come back and fight again, and you said, but with the emergence of fights coming back, past legends coming back to fight in exhibitions, has your dad been approached, or has he had any interest? Do you know?
No, my dad's retired. He's a happy retired man. You know, who's financially not. That's it. You know, once that got called off, that was that for my dad. And you know, there's a lot more to life than fighting.
People were taken aback by the amount of improvement they saw in your performance with your win over Sebastian Formella. Are you in somewhat of a tougher position with the public to match that precedent in performance that you set last time out?
No, mate. Again, listen, you can't read too much into it. You can't really care about the public. I mean, it's at the minute, you know, when I'm going in for my hardest test and my hardest fight today, I can't really be worrying about X, Y, Z. I've got to go in there and perform and do what I do best, do what I do in the gym, translate it, because there's no point doing it in the gym and then not doing it come fight night. You know, I set the bar in the Formella fight. People didn't expect that of me. And you know, this fight, I plan on doing exactly the same. As I said, there's no ceiling to my career. And, you know, we'll see how good I can be. I know how good I can be, but the public are yet to see the best of me.
I think you mentioned on CBTV, you've been on a pescatarian diet for 2 years. What's the difference that you've noticed in these last 2 years from switching?
I didn't really hear what you said, mate, but you mentioned pescatarian diet.
Yeah.
So the reason for being pescatarian is my missus went vegetarian, and I went vegetarian for 2 months, and I thought being vegetarian was really hard, as I do love my meat. And then I went pescatarian to change the variety, and I've now been pescatarian for almost 2 years. And mate, the health benefits
Sorry, can you hear me? I think you've just broken up a bit, Conor.
We just wait for him to start.
and I'm not jumping on the hype with some truffle chips. I miss a lot, man. So, you know, it's a another sacrifice I've made. I will eat meat in the future, but as an athlete, I feel so much better not eating meat.
There's been kind of like a flux in terms of the standings, in terms of the British, who's the best British British fighter at welterweight. Who in your opinion do you think represents the biggest challenge from a British perspective to yourself in the welterweight division?
Sorry, you keep cutting out, mate. Did you say who's the best British welterweight apart from me in the division?
Yeah, who do you think represents the biggest challenge?
I don't know, because you got top fighters in the division in Britain. It's a stacked division. Obviously, Josh Kelly suffered his defeat to Avanesian. I placed Josh Kelly up there. Congo just lost to McKinson. You got McKinson up there as well. I don't know, to be honest, man. I'm so focused on me. I think when you're looking at entertainment, I'm by far the most entertaining welterweight in Britain, in my opinion. You know, whether I got to get up off the deck, whether I knock someone out, whatever it is, the level of vulnerability, whatever it is, you know, people love to see me fight, and that's because I got dynamite in both hands. And you know, the likes of Josh Kelly's flashy, he's flamboyant, he's got that energy when he gets in the ring, and that's what people love. I think people forget this is the entertainment business. That's our job. That's what we do. You know, so you got to entertain as well as get the win, but you want to be an entertaining fights. I don't think there's anyone domestically I watch and go, oh yeah, I'd like to watch him. I like watching Josh Kelly, because you know he brings something to the ring. He brings entertainment. Everyone else, I don't think they carry that charisma in the ring. You know, and I like to be entertained just like everyone else.
Wish you all the best at the weekend, Conor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Haynes. We go to James Lupton next, please.
Hello, Conor. How you doing, mate?
How you doing, bub?
Good. One thing I want to mention, in your last fight, in your post-fight interview, we saw you get very emotional about family. Family is clearly a big motivator for you. This is your first fight since becoming a father. How much is your child, or how much extra motivation is your child giving you now?
As far as motivation, none. I'm already a motivated young man. I don't need, there's nothing. My son, anything I chose to do, my son would have had a blessed life anyway, because I would have applied myself 100% to whatever it was, whatever craft it was. You know, that's just the mindset I got. I will make sure I give 100% to whatever it is, so therefore it will succeed. As far as me and my achievements in boxing, I've achieved more than I thought I could when I first started. I believe there's a lot more left to achieve. But you know, I'm just want to be a good dad to my son. I come to England to be a father. I come to England to be a great boxer. Do you know what I mean? So it just motivates me to be a better man. A better, who am I? What do I represent? Who is Conor Benn? So that sort of thing.
Absolutely. It's been mentioned, Amir Khan already. He did come out and say he feels you could win a world title one day. As somebody who is a potential rival down the line, how does it feel to hear that from him? You know, a high compliment.
Well, listen, he's my idol at one stage. He's achieved everything I want to achieve in the sport. And I like watching Khan fight, mainly because there is a level of vulnerability, but also he has grit, he has the speed, and he was one of the fighters that I like to watch. So I'd love to fight Amir Khan, of course I would. But I've got my hands full with Vargas, and everyone keeps talking about Khan. Listen, I've got my hands full this Saturday night, and you know, providing I come through, which I believe I will, with a great victory, well then, you know, we can have them talks.
And just finally from me, also Saturday night, Jeremy's fights, you know, it's not just on the British scene, but on the world level, welterweight is a stacked division. How exciting is it to be part of this division? Because of course you will have world title ambitions as well.
This division's on fire. Always has been, always will be. You got to have the power, the speed, the accuracy, you got to have the lot. It isn't just a matter of one element. You have to have the full lot, and we're talking heart here as well. It's a stacked division, and it's an exciting division to be a part of.
Absolutely. All the best. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, James. If we go to Brett from Bad Intentions Boxing, please.
Cheers, Dan. Conor, great to speak to you and have the opportunity, mate, to have a chat with you. How are you keeping?
Pleasure. Yeah, not too bad, mate. Just relaxing now.
Great. No, it's good to hear. So I apologise if I asked something that's already been mentioned before. I was a little bit late to the party because of other reasons.
You do your thing.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you. So obviously this Saturday represents, I think on paper, and if we reflect on it, what is classed as the biggest step up of your career so far. You know, you're going in there with somebody that likes to bang. He's got a history of going in there and wanting to brawl with people. We've heard you say on numerous occasions, you know, you like to fight. It's the entertainment business. Is there the potential of an overemphasis of trying to excite people too much and potentially getting caught against what is somebody who likes to brawl? Nah,
man. You know, I'm going to go in there and do what I've got to do. I'll find openings and I'll take them. He's going to probably try and rough me up and, you know, show his experience. Well, you know, let him do what he wants to do. I've had someone try and rough me up before pulling my head down, pulling all them fast ones, elbows in the face, and then I banged him out in 2 rounds. So, you know, and that was a former opponent of Samuel Vargas, you know, who went 12 rounds with Vargas, and then people say he should have won. So, you know, listen, he can do what he wants to. He can worry about doing what he's got to do. Me and my team have a strategy, and we're going to stick to the strategy.
No, that's great to hear. And obviously, you're full of confidence going into this fight. Just touching on your previous comment there, where you mentioned about Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly's an exciting fighter. He's got lots of flair that he brings to it. You was obviously live and present that night when David Avanasian, you know, got that fantastic stoppage against him. Do you think there's an element was tactically good as Josh Kelly is, that he just doesn't have the heart?
I can't question his heart from another fellow fighter. But something's lacking, and only him and his team know what it is. Whether he deep down thinks it's his heart, or whether it's his weight, whether it's desire, whether it's passion, you don't know what it is. And you know, I can't be the one to point the finger, because at the end of the day, anyone who steps in the ring, you have bundles of heart as it is. But I don't know. That's between him and his team.
Yeah, no, that's great. And my last question I've got for you is obviously his opponent, which was David Avanasian. You know, there's a lot of talks of him potentially fighting Dillian Ulesanov. Is David Avanasian somebody that you'd potentially have your eye on a little bit down the line?
Plan. But at the end of the day, whoever's put in the opposite corner, I'm in there to fight him.
Conor, I appreciate all of the time, buddy. Thanks ever so much, and I wish you the best for Saturday.
Thank you, mate.
Thanks, Brett. If you go to Gareth Davis from Telegraph, please.
Sorry, I'm just in the middle of lunch. Apologies. Conor, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
I can indeed. Thank you. Yourself and your father, Nigel, Campbell Hatton and Ricky Hatton, Chris Eubank Jr. and Chris Eubank Sr. What is it about sons of fathers who haven't grown up in poverty, who've grown up as the sons of very successful, financially stable men and fathers? What is it about the sons that makes them want to go into boxing?
You're asking the wrong person. You missed out. You've got Steve Collins Jr. You've got Nassim Hamid's sons now coming on. You got then Shane Mosley, son fighting. I mean, the list goes on and on and on, doesn't it? But I think I can't answer that question. I think I'm good with answering questions, but I don't think I can answer that question because at the end of the day, it isn't the most glamorous life to have been chosen, considering they done what they done, so we didn't have to do what they done. It don't make no sense. But at the end of the day, you find your calling and you go with it.
And so it is a calling. And do you think it's ever wanting to prove something to your father, or is it just something because you've got his blood in you that it's there? It's a calling, but are you trying to prove something to Dad on a deep psychological level?
No, of course not. I mean, my dad's my dad. You know, I've done painting and decorating. I worked in retail. I worked in scaffolding. I worked as a PT. So when you're talking, my dad loved me equally. My sister works in a coffee shop. My little sister's studying to be a nurse, currently works in KFC. You know, it makes no difference to what I had done. This sort of just happened. It wasn't like I could go to, Gareth, yeah. I used to joke about it and say, yeah, I'm going to be like a fighter and all that. And then little did I know it's turned out true. So I believe God opens doors. I believe that, you know, he opens doors no man can open, and he shuts the doors no man can close. So, you know, I pray to God, I go, listen, God, I'm struggling here, mate. But you've brought me this far, mate. Don't let me down. You brought me this far. Because at the end of the day, I couldn't have opened these doors myself. You know, it all sort of just fell in line too well for me to say no.
But in terms of having a father who boxed, final one from me, I know how much you speak to Nigel. I've had you in the studio and you're chatting to him before we do the radio show. You're chatting to him in the breaks. Does he remain a great mentor for you, even though he's not your trainer?
You know what? My dad's my role model. He's my idol. He's a legend to me. And that's boxing aside. Forget boxing. I'm not even talking boxing. Just who he is as a man. And that's where he really inspires me. And having a son myself, just, really inspires me in that way. I think people forget there's more to life than boxing. There really is, you know, and I just want to be a good man.
And what are you going to do if your son ends up wanting to prove it as well and be a fighter?
He won't. But I doubt he will, because I just don't know. I don't think he will. I'm praying he don't anyway.
Brilliant. Thanks, Conor. I'll let someone else take over. Lovely to see you, mate. You're still looking beautifully, smoothly shaven.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gareth. If we go to Devinder Pal from the Boxing Voice next, please.
Cheers, Dan. Hey, Conor. You okay?
Yeah, mate, you are?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So first of all, after that fantastic victory over Formella, do you feel yourself being called out now by people you wouldn't have been called out from before? And from that as well, do you feel like you have to be more of a point, because you've been quite a relaxed guy, just saying, look, you're going to take one fight as it comes, like the likes of Florian Markey, for example. How do you stay so level-headed?
Well, I don't even know why you brought his name out of Powerball. He's a novice. Do you know what I mean? I don't even know why his name gets brought up. You know, because when you look at it, I don't even think he's ranked in the top 300 in the world, 400, 500 even. You know, so it's you know, that's just people jumping on, following social media, and it's funny because you know, that's mainly based on where it's going. Because if another 7-0 kid called me out, would you have brought his name up?
Of course not, no.
Well, exactly. So, you know, that's a bit of a daft question, but, you know, I get called out all the time. And, you know, it is what it is. I've been called out from the get-go throughout my whole career. It's you know, I'm flattered. You've got to be flattered, because at the end of the day, I'm never out for fights, and people are always going to call me out to try and get a leg up off my name and my platform, which is fine. But, you know, I'm on my own journey, and, you know, they can all muck around, do what they want to do. But, you know, so far, me and my team's plan is going ahead, and it's working.
Good stuff. And you said to me once as well, you'll fight whoever's in front of you, whether they've got 2 arms or 2 legs, you'll give them all a crack, and so on and so forth. This year's been a very difficult year, as is last year with COVID, and staying positive has been a key message for everyone. How have you been keeping positive during these sort of times?
It's a season, you know, and the seasons, they always pass. It is hard, but you just have to keep on the ball, and, you know, it's easy to fall off and it's harder to get back on. So you're better off just staying on it somehow.
Conor, all the best from the Boxing Voice.
Thank you, mate.
Good luck for Saturday night. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Devinder. If you go to Steve from Boxing UK next, please. You're on mute, Steve, mate.
Hi, Conor. It's Steve from Boxing UK.
How you doing, mate?
Hello, mate. Conor, we've already had a couple of people have mentioned this is a step up in class and a coming-of-age fight. Do you get a little bit tired of every fight with you seems to be a coming-of-age fight? At what point do these fights stop becoming coming-of-age fights and it's all about Conor Benn moving on to titles and big titles?
I don't know, to be honest, mate. It's public can see it how they want. They can sell it how they want. They can. I mean, people were saying the same about Formella. You know, his only loss come to Sean Paul. You know, fought for a world title and won the IBO. So, you know, on paper, really. So it to me, you know, let people say what they want. Rankings don't lie, numbers don't lie, and performances don't lie.
Lovely. One thing that hasn't been mentioned, how do you actually think this fight's going to go? What's your prediction?
I think you might be having some internet problems at the hotel, unfortunately. So we'll just wait. All right, I think that's that. Steve, if you wanted to ask again, mate, just in case you didn't get that.
Sorry, Conor, we cut out there. I was just saying one thing that hasn't been discussed is this actual fight. What problems do you think Vargas is going to bring, and how do you see it going?
He's going to bring everything he knows. He's going to bring his 31 fight experience, or however many fights he's had. He's going to bring it all. He's going to bring the heat, and you know, it's going to be a tough fight while it lasts, in my opinion. But I do believe it can go points. But I believe I'm definitely the quicker, way more explosive, talented, skill. I believe I'm all around a better package. So I believe the stoppage can come. But then I'm also prepared for it to go points. It don't make no difference to me, really. I've trained hard for the 12. So, and you know, this is my first 12 rounder. So I would like to get the 12 under my belt, but then also I'd like to go home and have an early night and get me curry down me.
Last one from us, Conor. You've said that Conor and Brook might be jumping the gun a little bit, but what's your ambitions for the rest of the year if you get through this one?
Listen, I can't really jump the gun. I've done this once before, and you know, I hit a deck twice in the first round. So, you know, I know people get carried away, but would I like? Let me get through this fight first, and then me and Conor can talk straight after.
No problem. Best luck at the weekend, Conor. Take care.
Thank you, mate.
Okay, got time for one final question from Dona. Do you want to jump in, mate?
Hey, Conor, could you talk to me a bit about the training you did with Darren Till and the sort of the constant talk that you've had over the last sort of year or so about maybe potentially considering doing a crossover fight at some stage?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, sorry, I'll ask again. Could you tell me about the training you did with Darren Till, the bit of MMA training, and also your sort of you've maybe mentioned in the past potentially doing a crossover fight at some stage down the line. Talk to me a bit about working with Darren Till and the possibility that we see Conor Benn step into a cage at some stage.
Well, working with Darren Till was blinding because he's one of the best in his field of sports, and he taught me so much. And yeah, I'd go to some grappling classes and grappling lessons just because I think it's good for your core strength as well. And you know, just learning all different sorts of martial arts. It's you know, it's all part of the combat sport. And then you start to see fighters crossing over to MMA, and then vice versa. And you know, it's something that I won't put past me at all. You know, with them small gloves on, I think I definitely clean up in the Bellator UFC division 100%. And, you know, there's a lot of hype around the crossovers in a minute. So, you know, you guys will definitely see me out there once my career's said and done in boxing.
A lot of talk about Florian Marco. I know that you said you're not interested in him. You said that he's a novice.
Yeah.
Is there any chance that perhaps that fight would happen outside of the boxing ring and maybe happen in a cage, considering his experience?
You're talking to me like I don't think about him, to be honest, mate. Like he's not relevant at all.